press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Namaste children. Let us continue with the topic chemical coordination and integration. In our last class we discussed about thyroid gland, parathyroid gland and other glands. In this class we will discuss about thymus gland, adrenal gland and pancreas. This thymus gland is present in front of the heart and just behind the sternum, and this increases up to puberty. It increases in its size. It increases in its size up to puberty, and then it degenerates or shrinks in its size. This is very important. See, it increases up to puberty. It is going to increase in its size up to puberty. Then it degenerates or shrinks in its size. That's why in older age people immunity is going to be decreased, because this thymus produces a hormone called thymosin. It produces a hormone called peptide hormone called thymosin. This mainly helps in differentiation of T lymphocytes. It mainly helps in differentiation of T lymphocytes. And these T lymphocytes are the cells which provide immunity to our body. They helps organism to fight against disease causing pathogens. This thymosin helps in the differentiation of T lymphocytes. T and B lymphocytes are the major immune cells which provide immunity to our body. Understood? These T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes are going to be formed in the bone marrow. They are going to be formed in the bone marrow, whereas B lymphocytes will mature in bone marrow and T lymphocytes will mature in thymus gland. It is going to be matured in thymus gland, where the differentiation of T lymphocytes, formation of T lymphocytes will occur in bone marrow, where the maturation or differentiation of T lymphocytes occurs in the thymus gland. And the immunity provided by the T lymphocytes is called cell mediated immunity. It's called cell mediated immunity. There are 4 different types of T cells: T helper cells, T killer cells or cytotoxic cells, T cytotoxic cells, killer cells, and one more T suppressor cells. We have 4 different types of T lymphocytes: T helper cells, T killer cells, T cytotoxic cells and T suppressor cells. T killer cells and cytotoxic cells kill the pathogens. They kill the disease causing microorganisms, whereas suppressor cell, once the microorganisms are destroyed, the action of B and T lymphocytes are going to be reduced or stopped. That is by the T suppressor cells, and T helper cells will help B lymphocytes. Even this thymus helps B lymphocytes to produce antibodies. That is humoral immunity. The immunity provided by B lymphocytes is called humoral immunity. Because antibodies are going to be released into the blood, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ immunity provided by the B lymphocytes is called humoral immunity. These T lymphocytes help B lymphocytes to produce antibodies, because in the production of antibodies, plasma cells are there. Next year, human health and diseases, you are going to study in detail about this. So that plasma cells produces antibodies, and we have memory cells here. That memory cells helps to remember which type of antibodies are produced to the particular antigens or particular disease causing microbes. The antibodies which are produced are going to be memorized by the memory cells, that is not seen in T lymphocytes. Hagagi T helper cell will help B lymphocytes to produce antibodies. Thereby again it helps in providing immunity to our body. So that is about thymus. Thymus, it is a gland which increases in its size up to puberty and then it degenerates or shrinks in its size. It produces a hormone called thymosin that helps in differentiation of T lymphocytes, which provide a cell mediated immunity, and that also helps B lymphocytes in the production of antibodies that provide us humoral immunity. Humoral immunity means antibodies are released into the blood, through that we get immunity. That's why it is called humoral immunity. Here the T lymphocytes are called cell mediated immunity because it provides immunity with the help of T lymphocytes like T helper cell, T killer cells, T cytotoxic cell and T suppressor cells. This is about thymus. So, there are two adrenal glands like this. So, these two are adrenal glands, pyramidal shaped adrenal glands present the anterior part of the kidney. This adrenal gland, when we take section, we can see two parts inside the adrenal gland. One is adrenal medulla, inner part is called adrenal medulla and outer part is called adrenal cortex. Inner part is called adrenal medulla, outer part is called adrenal cortex. And the hormones produced by adrenal medulla are called catecholamines. It produces a hormones called catecholamines like epinephrine and norepinephrine. Hormones produced by adrenal cortex are called cortical hormones or corticoids. Hormones produced by adrenal cortex are called cortical hormones or corticoids. The adrenal cortex is having three layers. So, outer layer is called zona glomerulosa, middle layer is called zona fasciculata and inner layer is called zona reticularis. It's called zona reticularis. So, the adrenal gland, when we take section, we see two parts. inner part is called adrenal medulla and outer part is called adrenal cortex. Adrenal medulla is ectoderm in origin. It is ectoderm in origin, whereas adrenal cortex is mesoderm in origin. So during embryonic stage we see three layers: ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm and endoderm. Ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. This adrenal medulla is going to develop by the ectoderm and adrenal cortex is developed by the mesoderm. The hormones produced by adrenal cortex are called cortical hormones or corticoids, and the hormones produced by the adrenal medulla are called catecholamines like adrenaline and noradrenaline. Adrenal cortex is having three layers. Outermost layer is called zona glomerulosa, middle is called zona fasciculata and inner is called zona reticularis. Let us discuss about the hormones produced by these layers. Layers of or division. Zona glomerulosa produces a hormones called mineralocorticoids. It produces a hormones called mineralocorticoids. Example, aldosterone. Zona glomerulosa produces a hormones called mineralocorticoids. Example, aldosterone. So main function of this is that helps to maintain salt and electrolyte balance. They helps to maintain salt and electrolyte balance and helps to maintain volume of body fluid and blood pressure. These are the functions of mineralocorticoids. They mainly helps to maintain salt and electrolyte balance in our body and also helps to maintain volume of body fluids and blood pressure. This aldosterone, it absorbs. How it helps to maintain salt and electrolyte balance in our body means, we know that aldosterone mainly absorbs sodium and water by the distal convoluted tubules of kidney. It absorbs, aldosterone absorbs sodium and water from distal convoluted tubule of kidney and helps in the excretion of and helps in the excretion of potassium and phosphorus ions. Like this, aldosterone helps to maintain salt and electrolyte balance in our body. This is about zona glomerulosa. The next middle layer is zona fasciculata. This zona fasciculata produces a hormone called glucocorticoids. Example, cortisol. Example, cortisol. Main function is they helps to regulate. They regulate carbohydrate, fat and protein metabolism. They regulate carbohydrate, fat and protein metabolism, and this cortisol increases blood glucose level. They increases blood glucose level by glycogenolysis, gluconeogenesis, lipolysis and proteolysis. So it increases blood glucose level by glucogenolysis. Breaking conversion of glycogen into glucose is called glycogenolysis. Gluconeogenesis, usually glucose is going to be formed by the carbohydrates, but illenagate gluconeogenesis andre glucose is going to be formed by the proteins and lipids. That means glucose is going to be formed other than the carbohydrate. That process is called gluconeogenesis. For the gluconeogenesis, it requires substances or compounds that is given by lipolysis, breaking of lipids, and proteolysis, breaking of proteins. That helps in the formation of glucose, that is called gluconeogenesis. And also it decreases cellular uptake of glucose. It decreases cellular uptake of glucose. By this, it helps to increase blood glucose level in our body. And this cortisol regulates cardiovascular and kidney function, and also it helps in formation of red blood cells. Cortisol regulates cardiovascular and kidney function also, and also it helps in the formation of RBCs, red blood cells. This is about zona fasciculata. Then we have zona reticularis. It produces a hormone called gonadocorticoids or sex hormones. Produces gonadocorticoids or sex hormones. It mainly responsible for development of male and female secondary sexual characters. It mainly helps in the development of male and female secondary sexual characters. Male secondary sexual characters like development of growth of hair on the face, muscular body. In female we see high-pitched voice, broad hips and development of mammary gland. They all come under secondary sexual characters, that is mainly by the hormones, sex hormones. Understood? It's mainly by the sex hormones. So it produces hormones like testosterone, So it produces hormones like testosterone in male. So testosterone is produced in more quantity, whereas estrogen is produced in less quantity. Understood? Testosterone is produced in more quantity in male, whereas estrogen is produced in very less quantity in female. This is about zona reticularis. It produces a hormones called sex hormones, testosterone in male, estrogen in female. Next we will go with hormones produced by adrenal medulla. So adrenal medulla produces two hormones, adrenaline or epinephrine, noradrenaline or norepinephrine. Together they are called as catecholamines. These hormones are also called emergency hormones. They are also called emergency hormones because these hormones helps to cope up of all body of an organisms for serious conditions, emergency conditions like fight, fear and during flight in the birds. So it helps to cope up with emergency conditions like fight and fear and also during flight for the birds. These hormones are also called emergency hormones. How they cope up with these emergency conditions means they increases heart rate, and also respiratory rate. So by increasing heart rate and respiratory rate, it helps to cope up of organisms to emergency conditions like fight, fear and flight. And also these hormones increases blood glucose level. With this, they increases blood glucose level. By gluconeogenesis and by decreasing cellular uptake of glucose. By decreasing cellular uptake of glucose, it increases blood glucose level. So these catecholamines increases respiratory rate, it increases heart rate, also it increases blood glucose level by a process called gluconeogenesis and reduces the cellular uptake of glucose by the cells, both adipocytes and also hepatocytes. And also this mainly helps in alertness. It increases alertness. These hormones also increases alertness, pupillary dilation, and piloerection. Rising of air is called piloerection. These are all the effects we see in response to these hormones. So adrenal medulla and adrenal cortex is regulated by Adrenal cortex is regulated by anterior pituitary gland by adrenocorticotropic hormone. By releasing adrenocorticotropic hormone, pituitary gland controls adrenal cortex, but adrenal medulla is not controlled by pituitary gland. It is controlled by autonomous nervous system. It is controlled by autonomous nervous system. It's a very important point, you should be noted. Adrenal cortex is controlled by pituitary gland by releasing hormone adrenocorticotropic hormone. Whereas adrenal medulla is controlled by autonomic nervous system. It is not controlled by pituitary gland. So adrenal gland is called 3F hormones. Why it is called 3F hormone gland? Wait, after this side. So adrenal gland is called 3F gland because it helps organisms during emergency conditions like fear, flight and fight. So in all these conditions it helps the organism. Hagagi it is also called 3F gland, but is also called 4S gland because it helps in salt retention with the hormone aldosterone and stress conditions. It controls during stress reactions. These all the stress reactions by catecholamines, and it produces sex hormones, and also it controls sugar metabolism. By this it again got a name 4S gland. By this it is got name 3F gland, and also it is called 4S gland. This is about adrenal gland. Next we will move it pancreas. This pancreas, it is an heterocrine gland. It functions as both exocrine gland and endocrine gland. Exocrine part produces pancreatic enzymes like pancreatic amylase, pancreatic lipase, and endocrine part produces hormones. It produces hormones. So when we take section of the pancreas, we see between the acinar cells, these are acinar cells which produces enzymes, Between these acinar cells, we see group of cells, that is islets of Langerhans. Inside these islets of Langerhans, we see three different types of cells. Alpha cells, beta cells, and delta cells. So the endocrine part of pancreas is islets of Langerhans. Inside the islets of Langerhans, we see three different types of cells: alpha cells, beta cells and delta cells. Alpha cells produces a hormone called glucagon. It produces a hormone called glucagon. Beta cell produces a hormone called insulin, and delta cell produces a hormone called somatostatin. It produces a hormone called somatostatin. This glucagon it increases blood glucose level. It increases blood glucose level. That's why it is also called hyperglycemic hormone. Why it is called hyperglycemic hormone? Because it increases blood glucose level. So it converts glycogen into glucose. It converts glycogen into glucose. That process is called glycogenolysis. And also it decreases, this process is called glycogenolysis, and also it decreases cellular uptake of glucose. Decreases cellular uptake of glucose. That's why blood glucose level is going to be increased. That condition is called hyperglycemic hormone. The next hormone is insulin, which is produced by beta cells. Insulin is produced by beta cells. It decreases blood glucose level. It decreases blood glucose level. That's why it is also called hypoglycemic hormone. Why it is called hypoglycemic hormone? Because it is going to decrease blood glucose level. So what it will do? It converts glucose into glycogen. It converts glucose into glycogen by a process called glycogenesis. By a process called glycogenesis. And also it increases the cellular uptake of glucose. It increases cellular uptake of glucose by liver cells and by muscle cells and adipose cells. It increases cellular uptake of glucose, thereby it reduces the glucose level in the blood. That's why insulin is also called hypoglycemic hormone. Then one more hormone we have, somatostatin, produced by delta cells. This somatostatin is produced by delta cells. It regulates alpha and beta cells. When it is produced by the pancreas, it regulates alpha and beta cells. When the somatostatin is produced by the hypothalamus, it prevents the secretion of growth hormone. See, so when somatostatin is produced by the pancreas, by the delta cells, it regulates alpha and beta cells, function of alpha and beta cells. Whereas somatostatin, when it is produced by hypothalamus, then it prevents the secretion of growth hormone. So this is about the pancreas. So in the pancreas, we see the hormones insulin and glucagon. They are called insulin and glucagon are called antagonistic hormones. They are called antagonistic hormone because insulin decreases blood glucose level, whereas glucagon increases blood glucose level. So the function is opposite. Insulin function is opposite to glucagon and glucagon function is opposite to insulin. That is why they are called antagonistic hormones. Another hormones, for example, for this antagonistic is parathyroid hormone and thyrocalcitonin hormone. Parathyroid hormone increases calcium level in the blood, whereas thyrocalcitonin decreases calcium level in the blood. These two are also example for antagonistic hormones. So as their function is opposite, they are called antagonistic hormones. Now hagene FSH and LH odidve. FSH and LH are synergistic hormone. The functions, both the hormones are very much needed for a particular function to occur in an organ. So that's why they are called synergistic hormone. Here as the function is opposite to each other, they are called antagonistic hormones. This is about pancreas. And so we discuss adrenal gland. Hyposecretion of adrenal hormones are called hyposecretion of hyposecretion of adrenal hormones results in a condition called Addison's disease. Results in a disease called Addison's disease. Again, hypersecretion of adrenal hormones. Hypersecretion of adrenal hormones are called, that leads to a condition called Cushing's disease. That leads to a condition called Cushing's disease. So one more point, secretin is the first hormone to be discovered. Discovered by Bayliss and Stirling. And this Stirling coined the term hormone. Stirling coined the term hormone. And first hormone discovered is secretin. We know that hormones are also called as primary messengers or chemical messengers. So in the next class we will discuss about testes, ovary and the mechanism of hormonal functions. Thank you.